Do you want to get started selling printables, but you're not exactly sure where to start? I'm going to share the easiest and least expensive way that you can get started selling your printables today. There are a few things that you'll need to get started. The first thing you're going to need is a program to design in. So for this, I recommend either Canva or Adobe Elements. The difference is Canva comes with some graphics, which we'll talk about in just a minute. And I feel like Canva is a little bit more user-friendly than Adobe Elements is. However, Canva is a monthly fee if you want to use the pro version, which I would recommend if you're going to sell your printables. It gives you a lot more capability to do things than you can with the free account, but you can get started with the free account for certain types of printables. For Adobe Elements, it's a one-time fee, and I'll have a link to both of these for you in the description so that you can check them out. So Adobe Elements, you just pay a one-time fee and then you have the license to use it until the end of time, I guess. The second thing you'll need is somewhere to get your graphics from. I would recommend, if you have Canva, you can use the elements in there. If you don't, or if you want additional elements, you can get those on Creative Fabrica, and I'll have a link to that in the description as well. And you can pay for Creative Fabrica for a monthly fee, and you have the use of the entire library of everything that they have on there. You can also buy individual elements on Creative Fabrica, but I would recommend just doing the monthly fee. It's very low cost. You get a free trial so you can check it out and see if you like it before you commit. And one thing I want to mention with the Canva elements, you do have to, and I would recommend doing this with anything. Like, you can't just take one element and put it on a page and that's it. Like, you need to add other elements to it. And I'll be going into that in some future videos as well, but just be sure you check out the licensing for the images that you're using and make sure that you don't get yourself in trouble. The third thing you need is somewhere to sell. I would recommend getting started on Etsy because you don't have any upfront costs. I'll have a link in the description for you so you can get 40 free listings to get your shop started. So you can actually get your shop up and running without paying anything to Etsy until you make a sale. The other option that I think is a great option for selling your printables is Shopify. So with Shopify, it's just a monthly fee that you pay every month. And then of course there's like credit card processing fees, which you're going to have on any site. But I would only recommend Shopify if you already have an existing audience that would buy your printables, because otherwise you're going to have printables sitting there and not selling, and you're going to be paying this monthly fee. That's what happened to me in the beginning because I didn't have an audience. And so now that's not the case. But even if you know what you're doing and you optimize for Google, it still takes a long time for Google to index things and get them pushed up onto the first page. So I feel that Etsy is the best place to get started if you're brand new, don't have an audience, and you want to get your printables in front of people, because Etsy has a built-in audience already. Start with making printables for a specific person. You don't have to stay in this particular niche, but if you start with printables, say you make 10 printables for expecting moms, then when they come and look at one of your printables in your shop and they're like, oh, let me see what else they have in this shop, I really like this thing, and they go and look at your other printables, they're more likely to buy more than one thing if you have more than one thing to offer that particular person. So I would say do like 10 to 20 printables for one particular niche, and then if you want to move on to something else, you can do 10 to 20 printables for a second niche, and just keep building your shop up that way. Then that way you kind of have little corners in your shop that are for specific people where they can buy more than one item if they want to. So an example for the expecting moms, you could do nursery wall art, baby books, you could do a pregnancy planner, baby announcements, baby shower invitations, gender reveal invitations, baby shower decorations. You see the theme here. So all of these things would be geared toward the same audience. If you're getting value from this video, please give it a like. It really will help me in the YouTube algorithm so that other people can see this video as well. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So another tip is to link to some of your products that are related in your description. So this can go for Shopify or Etsy. You can list out your other products and you can put in the link where they are online, and then people will be able to see things that are related to what they're looking at and possibly go buy those things. Now, if you're on Etsy, you cannot link to somewhere else. It won't allow you to link. So within Etsy, you can link to other products in your store, but you can't link like to your Shopify store or something like that. It won't link. Another thing that you can do is, instead of just only selling your one-off products, you can bundle those products together. Say you have baby books, a pregnancy planner, and baby announcements in your shop. You could do those all with kind of a same theme as far as your graphics and things, fonts, and then make that a bundle. So you can sell them individually and you can sell them as a bundle for like a little bit cheaper. And then that way you can make a bigger sale all at once rather than the smaller one item sale. Now, one thing I wanted to say here is that you do not have to be a graphic designer to make printables. If you are, great. But if you're not a graphic designer, you can still make really awesome printables. I am not a graphic designer, and I've made tons of printables that people go crazy over. So don't be intimidated and think that you need some kind of like formal education to do graphic design and make these printables. Not true. I will say though, my first products were pretty horrible. So don't get discouraged if your first products don't sell. If you feel like they're not up to par, just keep practicing. I promise they will get better. I promise they'll start to sell. You got to hang in there. That's the case with anything online. You've got to just stick it out, keep going, learn from your mistakes. Another thing that I got really frustrated with when I first started selling printables was it took me what felt like an eternity to make one printable. So don't be discouraged and frustrated by that. It will get faster as you go along. I mean, it used to take me a whole entire day just to make one printable, and now I can knock one out, depending what it is, in like an hour. If you're doing something like a planner, that's going to take you more time because it has a lot of pages usually. So, those take longer anyway, but even just a one-page printable would take me a whole day to make. So don't get frustrated with yourself if you're new to designing and it takes you a long time. You'll get faster, you'll get better, and you'll look back on it and think like, I can't believe it used to take me that long. So pricing printables is always a huge question. How do you price your printables? And what I would not recommend charging any less than like $3 for a printable, unless it's like something that took you no time to make and you feel like it needs to be cheaper. But I think $3 is about the lowest you should go. If you're making editable printables or editable templates, I would definitely charge more for those because you're going to have customer service that you have to deal with on those. And I'm telling you that from experience. I have a lot of editable files in my shop and people send messages like, I can't figure out how to do this, even though I give them instructions and whatever. Like, there are always technical issues that come up and things like that. And I'm not discouraging you from selling editable because those do really well, but just keep that in mind when you're pricing. You are going to have to do some customer service, and to me that's more of my time and I need to be getting more money for that. Also, if you don't want to do editable but you want to offer the option for them to have you customize it for them, then you need to charge more for that too, because you're going to be taking your time with each and every printable, changing whatever you have to change on it, and then email it to them or however you're going to do it. That's not what I would recommend for a passive income strategy, but I know some people do it, and if that's what you're comfortable with, then go ahead. But be sure to charge more. Also, if you're selling somewhere like Etsy, you can go on and check out your competitors and see what they're charging. I wouldn't necessarily charge the same or lower, like still choose your own pricing. But if you want, you can check what they're doing just to have an idea. Don't necessarily base your pricing on what your competitors are pricing. If your item is good enough and unique, people are going to buy it. That's another thing that I wanted to mention too, is don't be a copycat. Oh my gosh, you're not going to be successful if you just copy what other people are doing, because they're already there and they're already making sales. Like, you can look at what bestsellers there are, but if you copy it or copy it, like make a very close replica, yours isn't necessarily going to sell, because they've been selling on Etsy for however long. They've already got the status in the algorithm, and people don't just want to keep seeing the same thing over and over in the search results anyway. They want something different. So think outside of the box, come up with your own ideas. Always clarify in your listing how you are going to allow people to use your product. So if you only want them to use it for personal use, be sure to say that. If they're allowed to use it, say in a classroom or something like that, you can say that. If you don't want people reselling your stuff, be sure to state that in your listing, that they should not resell any part of your printable. And I'm going to be doing another video coming up soon on how to protect your printable files. And so be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss that one. Turn on your notifications so that you get notified when I post it. That's my Printables Business 101 for you today. I hope that you found all these tips really helpful, and I hope you have an amazing day. Get started on that Printables business. I'm going to be sharing a lot more things about it in the future, and I will see you in the next video.